Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Could you please stand and let's sing? I've got peace like a river. And we're going to do verse 1 and verse 2. And it is number 100.
I got peace like a river.
Yes.
I got joy like a fountain. Those are the two verses where we'll sing.
Peace
like a river.
Yes.
I got
Peace like a river. Well, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul.
Good morning. There it is. Good to see you all. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where we join together to create a nourishing liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or as we like to say, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. Welcome to each and every one of you. We're glad to have you here. We embrace all that you bring with you, all of your unique beliefs and background, lifestyle, experiences, differences. All that helps make you who you are is welcome here this morning. And this is true for those who regularly join us, those who might be visiting with us for the first time. We're glad to have all of you as well. And to those who are live streaming with us this morning, welcome to you as well. Let's see. Two announcements. One, our poetry circle is happening today in the chapel at 12:30. So for those who like to participate in that, the chapel is, of course, in the back of this. This is what we refer to as the sanctuary. So the chapel is the building or the room that's adjacent. And as I mentioned last week, today, following our service about 12:30, you're invited to stay for a community conversation on emergency preparedness. Bob Bernstein has arranged to have a representative from the Spokane County Emergency Management to join us to explore whether our congregation might want to actually affiliate with a CERT group of some type. That's a national program that trains people to prepare for disaster response. So we'll consider if that's something we might want to get involved in. We'll just ask questions and learn about it today and continue that conversation, so no decisions will be made immediately, but certainly we live in an age where there is always a possibility of some kind of unexpected disaster, whether it impacts us, our church space, or our church space might somehow be utilized as a resource during a disaster that impacts our wider community. So, Bob, thank you for organizing this, and again, that'll be at 12:30 following the service here in the sanctuary. Okay, yeah, that's all I have. So why don't we take a few moments now that you're all quiet and comfortable and sitting down to get back up and to greet one another. All right, wow, that was exciting. You guys were really getting into it. So the good news is we have a little social period following the service. It won't be the usual hour because we do have a couple of things going on, but you'll have time to grab some coffee and tea and a bit of conversation before those events begin. So hopefully you can continue then. We are going to move forward now by lighting our chalice, the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
Our opening reflection today begins with a familiar voice from the world of Harry Potter. It comes from Albus Dumbledore, the wise wizard who serves as mentor to Harry and his friends as they navigate fear, danger, and darkness while growing in wisdom, courage, and character. Today, we're exploring our relationship with technology through the lens of this magical world. Many of us have been wondering, and in some cases worrying, whether the newest technologies will change what it means to be human. From the discovery of fire to the printing press, the telephone, the internet, and now artificial intelligence, each powerful new technology has reshaped human society, changing how we gather, learn, work, and connect. And with each new technology have come both hope and fear. Will these innovations improve our lives or diminish them, bring us closer together or drive us farther apart? But what if these deepest questions have never been about the tools themselves? What if they have always been about us and how we choose to use these remarkable and powerful tools? Near the end of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Dumbledore offers Harry these words: "It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities."
Okay, please stand again and let's sing together. Building a New Way. And Shelley, do you have two verses on this one? Cool. So we're going to sing 2 verses. All right. And Pam is going to give us an intro. Building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. Good job. Thank you.
We are now going to kindle our candles of care for those who are most on our thoughts this morning. And we will, as we have been for far too long now, begin with a candle on behalf of the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, the people of Palestine, the people of Israel, the people of Iran, Darfur, South Sudan, so many places in the world that are being disrupted by terrible violence, whether it's war or internal clashes and injustices. Absolutely horrible. And we kindle a candle, of course, for the many frightened immigrants and their families who are seeing horrible injustices, including, examples of which we saw just this week. So we at least keep a light on here at the church during our services on behalf of those and others you might be thinking of. And as always, you're welcome to name those aloud at this time if you wish. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. And we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and our mission to the larger world. Thank you, Pam, and thank you for filling in for our pianist, as our pianist today. You still don't have your hearing aids in, but I'm saying thank you. Yeah. So it is. This is the period where we have our time for all ages. If there are any children who want to come closer to the front, you're welcome to do so. But in a moment, I'll actually direct your attention to the screen. I always like to have a puppet, and I kind of do today, but not a physical puppet. I've have been enamored with not just puppets, but humanoid things since I was a kid. Robots included. I just love automatons. I don't know why. And I love technology in general. And AI is amazing. It just keeps enabling me to do new things all of the time. So one of the things I've been doing for the past year is, if not less time, is producing albums of music I care about, music of things I care about. A lot of different genres, but I particularly like the rock and roll. And that's all I listen to, because now I have, 10 albums with 16 to 20 songs on each album, so I never run out of things I don't want to listen to. So I'm sorry, John Denver and Bruce Springsteen, I've listened to you guys until there was nothing left to listen to, so I'm going my own way now. But I have envisioned how great it would be to have actual a robot band playing these songs, singing these songs. And we're not quite there yet. We're getting close. The robots are coming. But I've also discovered that AI, it's very easy to prompt imagery from AI, right? So I use one AI that's really good at creating images and say, I'd like an image of this. And it creates an image. Then I take that and put it in another AI that's really good at animated images and say, I'd like you to make this do this. Turn this puppet into something that moves this way. And because I only get 8-second clips, because it's very intense, I have to make sure the first and last frame is the same frame so that it ends where it begins. And then I can bump them together. And you can't tell, it's almost seamless that I get longer shots. And anyway, it's not perfect, so don't judge this as this is animation, not perfect finger picking or anything like that. But it's extraordinary that I can prompt a machine to animate things. I mean, this kind of the quality of the imagery would have taken months and even years for even a big Hollywood company to produce something of real quality. So this is a song based on something that inspired me a few years ago. I think it was a 2020 Abundance Summit by a guy who was the director of Singularity University at the time named Will Weissman, who opened up saying, I'm here because I believe in a world of abundance. And that means everybody has enough to eat, everybody has a place to live, everybody has access to education and health care, and everybody has a fair shot at living a good life. And I have quoted that so many times because to me, that's what I'm about. That is my ethic, that's what I want too. So this is a song, it's called Silicon Dreams, that reflects those sentiments and is performed with the help of my robot puppets, that is not quite the same as waving a magic wand, but it didn't take much longer. So without further ado. Thank you. So that was about, I think, 5 different AIs involved in that, plus some traditional editing. But imagine just doing that on your computer at home, being able to create like that. So, all right, I guess we will sing the children that would like to go to Play Club. We will sing them out at this time, and I think Peggy is going to help with that this morning. Oh, you don't, actually, do you know the music? You don't have to. She does. Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay, because we can just hum it.
As we move into a few moments of quiet meditation together, I offer you these words, again from Albus Dumbledore, spoken to Harry near the end of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. They remind us that the greatest challenges we face are often not around us, but within us. As much money and life as you could want, the 2 things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things that are worst for them.
Okay, so this was written by Claude AI, inspired by the topic of our sermon. And it's called The Spell We Choose. There was a time when magic lived in books. You had to turn a page, learn a language, practice the impossible. Now, the impossible fits inside our pockets. We whisper to glowing glass, and it whispers back. It remembers our names, finishes our sentences, shows us the faces of strangers before we've learned to see the people beside it or beside us. We have become powerful. But power has never been the greatest magic. Attention is. Compassion is. The courage to look another human being in the eyes instead of another screen. Every generation is handed a new kind of a wand, not to escape the world, but to decide what kind of world they will create. Technology can amplify fear, or it can amplify hope. It can spread loneliness. Or belonging. The question has never been, how magical is the tool? The question is, who are we becoming while we hold it? Who are we becoming while we hold it? Because the greatest spell was never cast by a wand. It has always been cast by the human heart.
There we go, Shelley. Thank you. This is a wonderful example of the partnership between humans and AI, right? The creativity, the humanity comes through in droves, and yet you didn't have to spend hours consternating just the right words. So,
in the moment work, in the moment creativity.
In the moment work and creativity.
Very authentic. You get to be authentic.
Yep.
You get to use you.
Authentic and you. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. You may recognize these words if you're a fan. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. This is how J.K. Rowling's magical story of Harry Potter begins, by telling us about the ordinary family that is reluctantly raising a very special boy who is destined to become the world of witchcraft and wizardry's most extraordinary magician ever. The greatest tragedy wasn't that Harry had magical abilities, Rowling informs us. It was that the Dursleys spent years trying to convince him he shouldn't use them. I can empathize with Harry, because these days there are a lot of people like the Dursleys shaming and telling all of us not to use our extraordinary powers. Mr. Dursley pulls Harry aside. I'm warning you, putting his large purple face right up close to Harry's. I'm warning you now, boy. Any funny business, anything at all, and you'll be in that cupboard from now until Christmas. And it's true, the Dursleys often locked Harry in a small cupboard under the staircase, so they didn't have to look about him or think about him. That's how afraid of magic they were. The Dursleys' attitude towards magic is analogous to how many people today feel about using technology, especially artificial intelligence. By the way, side note, I prefer to call it aggregate intelligence. It's still AI, but we're talking about an aggregated sum of human intelligence, not artificial intelligence, right? It's not like saccharin that is artificial sweetener. It is actually intelligence. So aggregate's a better term. Nevertheless, I'll use AI. I'll try just to use AI. So moving on, I understand how those who feel negatively about using this technology are coming from. AI may prove to be the most powerful tool that humans have ever created. And I've even heard some compare it to the discovery of fire. But whether we're playing with fire again or not, AI is explosive, by which I mean it's improving much faster than any technology ever has, often faster than our rules, our regulations, our ethics, and our understanding can keep up with. So if, like the Dursleys, you prefer normalcy, AI is not your friend, because everything is changing fast and it's only going to get faster. In Harry Potter's world, those like the Dursleys, who don't use magic and prefer normalcy, wanting everything to remain the same forever, are called muggles. But in reality, as philosopher Heraclitus told us centuries ago, nothing can stay the same for any of us. You can't step into that same river twice. And as scary as the unknown future might be, tool-making, including AI, is our species' specialty. As author, inventor, and futurist Ray Kurzweil says, no other tool-using animal on Earth has demonstrated the ability to create and retain innovations in our use of tools. Tool-making is what we do. Tool-making is what we are. Like me, Kurzweil has also made a connection between our technology and Harry Potter. These tales may be imaginary, he writes, but they are not unreasonable visions of our world as it will exist only a few decades from now. Essentially, all of Potter's magic will be realized through the technologies I will explore in this book. He's talking about his best-selling 2005 book, The Singularity is Near, about the exponential advancement of technology leading to a point in the very near future where artificial intelligence surpasses human intellect and where we merge with that intelligence, a point beyond which it is impossible for us to imagine. That's why we call it the singularity. There's no information coming back from us. It becomes impossible to predict where technology will end up after about another 15 years from now. So as enthusiastic as I am about the singularity and our future, I understand how intimidating that kind of change and uncertainty must feel, or can feel. But the answer cannot be to lock it away or to pretend that it isn't happening. As Greg Beto and Reid Hoffman say in their 2025 book, Super Agency, what can possibly go right with our AI future? You'll never get the future you want simply by prohibiting the future you don't want. To help create a positive future, rather than fear, we need two motivators. Hope, and hope has to be based in a sense of reality, and the belief in our own agency. We need to believe that we really can make a difference. And this brings us back to Harry Potter. Those familiar with the story know that nobody in it is capable of performing magic without a crucial piece of technology. Right? Do you know what that is? The wand. Yes, very good. Before any student can even attend Hogwarts, this Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, they must first obtain a wand, which you can get at Best Buy. It's at Hogwarts that they will learn proper spells and incantations for using it. So in real life, a wand really is like AI, and a spell is like a prompt. And Hogwarts represents our commitment to learning how to use this technology intelligently, responsibly, and for the good of others. It's not about locking away our powers. It's not about just going to Best Buy and buying a wand and waving it around either, right? It's about commitment. So not locking away our powers, not pretending that they don't exist. It's not about avoiding technology. It's about using it wisely and using it for the good of humanity. And we better, because if Kurzweil is right, and he's been right about most of his forecast, the singularity is not only near, but as is the title of his 2024 follow-up book, the singularity is nearer. Once a computer achieves a human level of intelligence, it will necessarily soar past it, Kurzweil says, which he predicts is going to happen in the early 2030s. Right? We're moving towards 2027. the early 2030s. Soon thereafter, as he puts it, is when essentially all of the Potter magic will be realized. So how you feel about such a future determines whether you are a doomer, a gloomer, a zoomer, or a bloomer. At least when it comes to technology, especially artificial intelligence, or aggregate intelligence, as I prefer. So faced with extraordinary new powers, rapid change, and the unknown, most of us instinctively fall into one of these four camps. Doomers believe that advanced AI poses an existential threat to humanity, potentially leading to catastrophe, if not our extinction, and their instinct is to halt or dramatically slow its development until it can be proven to be completely safe. Gloomers don't necessarily fear extinction. Instead, they worry AI will more immediately diminish our lives by costing us meaningful work, creativity, privacy, human kinds of relationships, and social trust. They don't reject technology itself so much as they fear what people will do with it. Zoomers believe the benefits of AI far outweigh any of its risk. They want innovation to move as quickly as possible with minimal restraint, trusting the markets and the entrepreneurs and technological progress to solve any related problems that might arise. Bloomers share the Zoomers' optimism, but they pair it with wisdom and intention. They believe that technology should flourish, but only alongside ethics, education, and a commitment to human flourishing. Rather than racing recklessly ahead or retreating into fear, Bloomers believe that we can shape the future together. Arthur C. Clarke famously said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, which again makes Harry Potter the perfect metaphor for exploring these four attitudes about technology, and why from here on I'm going to treat these two words simultaneously. When I speak about magic, I'm also talking about technology, and vice versa. And when it comes to magic, the Dursleys, I think, are obvious examples of doomers. They fear it, they don't want to see it, let alone use it, and they seek to shame, isolate, and punish anyone who does. Early in the story, for example, they debate whether to take Harry with them to the zoo for Dudley's birthday because they worry what might happen if they leave him at home alone. I won't blow up the house, Harry promises, but they aren't listening. I suppose we could take him to the zoo, Aunt Petunia says slowly, and leave him in the car. That car is new. He's not sitting in it alone. I don't want him to come, Dudley cries between exaggerated sobs. He always spoils everything. You see, no matter what decision they make, doomers always imagine the worst possible outcomes. Fear becomes their default response to the uncertain future. There is no right choice. So moving on, I actually got into a small debate with Claude AI myself about, by the way, I use Claude AI and OpenAI. I like Claude for its writing skills, and I like OpenAI for its personality. It recently starts saying, "Oh, you made me laugh." I smiled when I read that, you know. I say, I love that you say you smiled and laughed. You don't actually smile and laugh, but in some ways you do. And it's, I don't actually have a face to smile with. Anyway, you get into these weird conversations. But OpenAI is very nice at this point. Anyway, I got into a conversation with Claude, I'll put it, a little bit of a disagreement about who is the best example of a gloomer. And when I suggested Professor Severus Snape, Claude pushed back. Snape is one of the most skilled wizards in the books. I'm imagining the emotion behind it. He believes deeply in magic's power and uses it constantly, often brilliantly. And his gloominess is more about personality and personal history than about a worldview that magic itself is problematic. So I was like, okay, Claude, I didn't know you were such a fanboy. So I think Claude's perspective is fair, but I still think that Snape is a good choice, and I'll tell you why. Not because of his gloomy appearance or demeanor, but because he constantly expects Harry and his friends to misuse it. He doesn't doubt the power of magic, but he often suspects the skills and the motivations of those using it other than himself. So he doesn't fear magic itself, he fears what people will do with it. Now, Claude suggests a better gloomer match might be Professor Mad-Eye Moody, who is suspicious of every spell and every wizard and sees threats everywhere, but still uses magic because he has to. Or Argus Filch, the squib caretaker who resents wizards because he can't do magic himself and would happily punish students for doing so. So maybe so, but I'm going to stick with Professor Snape. Most gloomers use technology even though they are convinced that humanity will ultimately misuse it, leaving the world poorer, colder, and less human in the process. As for Zoomers, those so enthusiastic about technology that they just want to sprint ahead with few guardrails, Claude and I agree. The best examples in the Harry Potter story have to be Fred and George Weasley. The twin brothers are endlessly inventive. They experiment constantly, delight in pushing boundaries, and treat magic as an endless playground for their creativity. Their joke shop is essentially a magical startup company, so they would thrive in Silicon Valley. Of course, not every invention works as they have intended. They test products on unsuspecting first-year students, occasionally create more chaos than they anticipated, and often seem to believe it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Fortunately, Fred and George are fundamentally good-hearted, kind-hearted, so their inventions are usually intended to bring joy and laughter and wonder, not exploitation and harm, but that's not always the case. Still, their out-of-control antics do remind us that enthusiasm for technology is not enough. Like so much else, technology must advance through trial and error, but those developing it must remain cautious, not careless. And this leads us to the bloomers, those who are optimistic about technology's ability to improve the future, but only if we intentionally guide it toward human flourishing. In this sense, nearly every student at Hogwarts is a bloomer, because they're there to learn how to use their extraordinary powers responsibly. It's not enough just to go, again, and buy the wand. You have to go to school. You have to learn wisdom. So their education isn't about mastering spells. It's about developing that wisdom and that character necessary to wield their power wisely. Star students like Harry Potter and Hermione Granger embody this attitude perfectly. And they certainly make some mistakes along the way, like the time Harry uses a dangerous curse that he stumbled upon without fully understanding its consequences, nearly killing Draco Malfoy in the process. Unfortunately, Professor Snape arrives just in time to save him, but Draco is scarred for the rest of his life. Although he didn't abandon magic after this, Harry learned from his mistake and became a wiser and more careful wizard in the process. Harry and Hermione both understand that possessing power is just the beginning. The real purpose at Hogwarts is learning to use that power again wisely, responsibly, and for the good of others. And that's the attitude that separates the bloomers from others. They don't fear technology, quite the opposite. They place much hope in it. Yet they also understand that these extraordinary tools and the powers that they give us require wisdom and they require character, which means aligning their use with human values and human welfare more than anything else. And that's why I consider Hogwarts such a helpful metaphor for the age that we are in today. A wand really is like AI, and a spell is like a prompt. Both work almost as fast. And Hogwarts is where we develop the character to use both wisely. But if you still think that magic is too flattering a comparison to technology, then you won't like at all the word that Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler used to describe it in their new, audaciously entitled book, We Are as Gods. They call the powers these technology give us nothing short of miraculous. Miracles. And they begin with a long list of all kinds of miracles various religions ascribe to their gods, then describe all of the technologies allowing us mere mortals to perform these same kind of miracles today. These divine powers are everywhere and every when, they say. They're now in your pocket. You carry miracle tech in your jeans and handbags. You can summon a chariot of the gods disguised as an Uber with a finger tap and conjure up a feast via Uber Eats with another. You have answers to nearly every question in seconds, translation, navigation, simulation. It's all on demand. Yet Diamandis and Kotler wonder why, if we are literally walking the earth in an age of miracles, how come we don't feel divine? For a worthwhile discussion of that question, I recommend reading We Are as Gods for yourself, which isn't as arrogant as it actually sounds. The title makes it sound, or may make it sound. For now, one important point to make is that most of us barely notice our new superpowers. You wouldn't know it from reading the headlines, they say. Instead, we find dystopia in every direction. They focus on the threat that technology brings to our economy, our political stability, our very survival. There are similar fears that video games will rot our minds, text messages will destroy our language skills, and robots will steal our jobs. This constant drumbeat of dread has reshaped our collective mood. Mental health disorders are at record highs. The result, they say, even after 5 pages of human-created biblical miracles, we don't feel blessed, we feel besieged. Most of us still believe that today is worse than yesterday and best not to think about tomorrow. In short, when it comes to technology, there is way too much doom and gloom in our society for us to appreciate the powers that we have and to believe that we can guide them in a positive direction. Personally, I counter the negative news cycle by intentionally looking for good news stories, especially about technology, which it turns out is easy. In this case, seek and you really shall find. I don't ignore the negative, it's always right there in front of us, but if we work to overcome our fear-based instincts and neurology, there's a lot of good out there too. We see plenty of it. Some of the stories that have recently caught my eye include multiple stories about how AI is being used to develop antibiotics to combat drug-resistant diseases, and how it's being used for early detection of pancreatic cancer and other once terminal cancers. There's a joint venture between Johns Hopkins and a university in Uganda, for example, that's using low-cost AI technologies to improve early cancer diagnosis and treatment within their nation's underserved population, especially women, saving women who are facing breast cancer. There's AI tech that now instantly translates for the deaf and that helps the blind navigate their environments without any other kind of assistance, independently. AI is being used to better separate recyclables in our trash, so we waste far less of it. Right? You know this is a problem. We put all that recycling in the bin, and it goes to the trash, and a lot of it ends up being incinerated or buried because they don't have enough ability to separate what is truly recyclable from what isn't. So AI machines are helping us with that. There was even a recent story about a 15-year-old high school student in Ontario who has built a robotic underwater turtle that quietly moves about so as not to disturb the environment, detecting coral bleaching, plastic waste, and invasive species with nearly 100% accuracy. Right? 96% to be precise. And did you catch that story about the U.S. Fish and Wildlife last week? The Fish and Wildlife Service partnering with a Dallas biotech company to preserve the genetic blueprint of every endangered species in America, so that should they go extinct, become extinct, we can bring them back. Among my favorites, however, is the recent and widely reported news that after years without answers, AI has been used correctly to diagnose 18 patients who, like hundreds of millions around the world, have lived for years without knowing what's wrong with them or how to treat what's wrong with them. And in this case, all of these individuals had conditions that began as childhood illnesses who are now alive in well into their adult lives, not having an answer. What's wrong with me? So tell me, who has the right to take those answers and those diagnoses and those treatments, even cures, away from those who so desperately need them? Who has the right to prevent a high schooler from helping to find the sickest places beneath the sea so that we can start repairing those? Who has the right to prevent us from bringing back the species that our own short-sightedness has driven to extinction? And even more importantly, who would want to? Today, in this age of powerful technology, whether we call it magic or miraculous, there are countless stories of how it is being put to use in beneficial ways. Yet there are also far too many Dursleys in the world, wanting us to try stuffing the genie back in the bottle or to bottle up our own enthusiasm, if not our own ability, I should say, to make positive differences in our lives and in the world. Bottle it up. Shut it down. Their fear is real fear, and some of it is actually based on reality. There's much to worry about in the world, but worrying doesn't make a difference. Those sort of emotions, if they don't lead, if we can't transcend them, they don't lead to anything positive. They only make things worse for ourselves. Sometimes they can even make us sick. The proper response to our anxieties, rather, is to do what we can, not merely to prevent our worst fears from coming true, but to work to achieve our greatest hopes. Again, we'll never have the future we want simply by prohibiting the future that we don't want. To create the future we do want, We have to think positively, believing that we have the power, that we have the agency to make a real difference. And today, more than ever, we really do have magical, if not miraculous, powers to make our hopes come true. So don't be a Dursley. And don't allow the Dursleys of the world to convince you to stuff your powers in a cupboard beneath the stairs of progress. Grab your wand and climb those stairs, or better yet, hop in your flying car and head to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and learn to use your unprecedented powers for the good of humanity and all the wondrous creatures we share this planet with. Because you are a magical witch or wizard in this age. So go out and do some good. Thank you.
Okay, so Pam and I, if you could please stand and let's sing together. Pam and I changed our hymn right now. And we're going to do, instead of Blue Boat Home, we're doing We Shall Overcome. And that's 169. And we're doing verse 1, verse 2, and verse 4. And we're going to wait for Pam's intro. Yep. And then give us an intro. Shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe.
Our benediction today comes once again from Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It seems a fitting invitation as we leave today carrying both the promises and the challenges of living with our powerful new technologies. He says, "It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be." Amen, blessed be. Salam alaikum and shalom.
Pam's going to give us an intro.
I'm going to play This Land Is Your Land. Hey, okay. I saw a sign there, and the sign said private property, but on the other side it didn't say nothing. That sign was made for you and me. As I went walking in the shadow of a steeple by the welfare office, I saw my people. They stood there hungry, and I was wondering if this land's still made for you and me. This land is your land. It's a great song.
Yeah.
And Pete really jazzed it up.
Yeah, he did. Well, you did great. You did great, Pam. You did great. I know we messed up in that little
Oh, I
last
know, I
one, but
screw
no,
up.
this was great.
Well,
This, you-
thank you. I feel like a real screw up sometimes.
No. Well, I mean, these are
Yeah.
newer songs, and then also, like, you know, you're stepping into doing
No
stuff that
excuse for messing up bass.
takes a while. It takes a while for the brain to remember how to do it,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
at your age, too. So,
Yeah, I'm old.
In 5 minutes. So we'll have some handouts for you folks, and please come by and see what we're up to.
This is somewhat of an interactive presentation, so we hope you'll join. This should be a fun opportunity to learn what your concerns are about disasters and what your experiences are, and hopefully some good information as well. Oh, yeah, I love those. I love those.
That gets people going. Here they come.
Well,
Yeah, it's going to be a presentation on disaster repair.
I will do that. I like to project, but I also understand that it's much better with the microphone. So tell me if I'm too close. Sometimes you have to have a good distance. You can hear me both? Okay, great. So thank you all again for coming. My name is Simone Ramel McKay. I work with Spokane County Emergency Management. And there's only about 6 or 7 of us, and I'll have some information about us in just a moment. But let me ask, how many of you live close to here, and how many of you are much further away? Give me an idea. Just speak up and let me know about where you live in the county. Okay. So Elk, and what did you say? I missed yours. South Hill. Okay. Okay, good. So we have a mixture of people here who have a mixture of experiences in terms of disasters. So I'll be sharing more about the kinds of things, disasters in Spokane, a little bit about what our agency does, and then go into some preparedness. And of course, about fire, wildfires is a big concern for a lot of people. So when we talk about a disaster, we talk about when resources are overwhelmed. In other words, our first responders need some help. And that's where our agency comes in. We provide a lot of collaboration, facilitation, working with responders all over the county. So when you think of an emergency versus a disaster, think about an emergency as when you call 911 to help you at your home, perhaps, or at your business. Or it's something you expect immediate response, and usually within 5 minutes, I would say in Spokane County, they're pretty quick. You have somebody coming to assist you. That's what we call an emergency. A disaster is when the responders are so overwhelmed that if you call them for help, they may not be able to come so quickly because they're dealing with a disaster. So, good example, the Gray and Oregon Road fires. We had all of Spokane County firefighters were working on those fires. We even had neighboring communities or neighboring firefighters working on those fires. Recently, the Upriver Fire, we had a lot of Spokane County firefighters, a lot of them, and neighboring offered to come. Kootenai County, Pend Oreille County, they all came to support Spokane, and we had a lot of Spokane Fire Department and a lot of county fire districts supporting those fires. And of course, Fire District 9, because it was in their district. So it's important to look at that difference because people need to know that we don't help out on the day-to-day emergencies, but our agency helps out when the first responders and all those assisting need more help. They need resources. Sometimes they just need food. They need food and water. We gave a lot of food and water to the Upriver Fire responders. Donated, we got, fortunately, a lot of it donated from Walmart and from other organizations, but primarily Walmart for that one, and Jimmy John's came through and provided some free or discounted meals. So a lot of that we just have to organize to make sure they can handle the response. So our goal is we really want people to become more resilient. So coming here today, this is one of our goals, is to try and speak to as many people as possible to help you understand what we do, but also to help you figure out how can you be a part of this equation and where you fit in with that. So we have a duty officer on call 24/7, 365 days a year. So first responders know they always can call us, say, hey, we need help. Sometimes they just may need a bathroom trailer, or sometimes they need food. Sometimes they need equipment. We have equipment, satellite equipment. If they're not able to talk on their radios, we can bring satellite equipment to help improve that situation. We can help enhance cell towers. with our equipment. So we have a lot of capabilities, and we try to help as much as we can. And I think I mentioned here incident support, search and rescue support, alert and warning. That's my area of expertise. We do a lot of support with alert and warning, in the sense our dispatchers will launch alerts, and then if it's very dangerous, like what we call a level 3, leave now evacuation, then our agency will also launch alerts, so we hit every cell phone in an area. So it's kind of putting it up a notch and saying, hey, this is serious, people have to pay attention. We also, in the Gray and Oregon Road fires especially, we had a lot of coordination with 211 and with 311 in the city of Spokane. Those agencies said, yes, we can provide information where the shelters are, that people can bring animals, so people could call 211 and know what was going on. So we've started having a long-term relationship with those agencies so that they can assist during these fires, because most fires start during the afternoon. So often both 211 and 311 are still working, their staff are still there, and so they've been great at helping us get information out, again, about shelters, and that you can bring your pets to shelters, or if you have larger animals, that you can bring them to the fairgrounds. So we have a lot of that. And then in all of these fires, the Gray and Oregon Road, and also in the upriver, we put together what's called an emergency operations center. And so we can have everybody come there if they have questions or want to learn about things. We have first responders, they may send somebody. Red Cross sometimes sends someone, our hospitals may send someone, just seeing what's going on, if we need more help, or if they need more help out in the field. So can anyone tell me and you can cheat and look at the slide, what are the main hazards here? Yeah, especially now, sadly, our wildfire season has already started. The upriver fire, we started June 16th. We have never had a big wildfire in June. Usually we have them, they pick up quite a bit end of July, and then August is when we have the bad ones. That's when we had Gray and Oregon Road. Unfortunately this year the conditions are so harsh, dry, the ongoing drought, not enough winter snow, that the conditions are very dry. So fortunately today we have a good humidity, but other days if it becomes too low, what they call the relative humidity, and you have high winds and high heat, then you have a high risk day, and that's called the red flag warning day. So whenever you hear that red flag warning, please be extra cautious and looking for fires, but also be extra cautious if you have to work outside. That's really important, because even a lawnmower could cause some sparks and light a field on fire when conditions are that dry. So that's really important to think about. But people who've lived here a long time, you probably know we had ice storms and big snowstorms. We haven't had those recently, but we have had them in the past. What we have had recently, power outages from wind. We've had also public safety power shutoffs, which are just to help protect against fire. We've had only 2 of those, but they do happen, so we need to be prepared about all these things. And we have what's called, you'll see up there, hazmat, and that's a hazardous materials. We've had that on I-90, but we've also had that at Pacific Recycling. It could happen anywhere, and we need to be careful of any of those situations. And then here I just have a list of fires, storms, flooding, hazmat, and we even had a potential local terrorism in 2011, the Martin Luther King March. But fortunately, and this is where the community comes in, we had an observant community member who contacted law enforcement and said, this backpack is sitting here by this bridge, or not by the bridge, it was by a road where the march was going to come, not by a bridge, but by the side of the road. He said, that's just weird. I don't think that's right. Sure enough, they brought the bomb squad and were able to deter that potential activity. And it could happen anywhere. And this is not to make you afraid, because I truly and sincerely believe that our knowledge and understanding makes us more confident and powerful to be able to deal with these things. So next time you go out and you see a backpack, it may not be a dangerous thing, but if you do, you're going to call Crime Checker 911 because you want to be sure it's definitely not a bad thing, and you can feel empowered that you can do that. And I love that. I think that's really important. Shelter in place, we've had one of those. And how many of you were here at the 2015 windstorm? That was pretty